Welcome back. We're visiting with Dennis Edwards to discuss what's in store for Raleigh with strategic plans and ongoing projects. I guess you do need that, right, Dennis? You can build it and they may not come without a plan.
And we back in 2017, we started to look at the future of tourism and realized we really needed a long-term strategic plan to guide Wake County. It's not just the Visit Raleigh plan. This is a Wake County plan to really determine how do we increase visitation to 21.7 million visitors by 2028. So we launched the plan in 2018, and it really gives all of our elected officials, our developers in Wake County, a blueprint in terms of what we need to build infrastructure here within the county over a 10-year period. So we launched that plan in 2018 and have made a lot of success since that time. We're halfway through it now.
Well, in fact, let's look at that. Sure. I'm sure you had your benchmarks. How has it been going?
Well, I'll tell you, there were 4 key priorities in terms of projects that we focused on at the very beginning of the plan, and that was enhancements at the PNC Arena, a new convention hotel, a convention center expansion, and a new indoor sports arena. Because of the growth that we've had over the last couple of years in tourism, we have 2 taxes. We have a prepared food and beverage tax and a lodging tax collections. Those 2 taxes in 2022 generated $73.8 million.
Wow.
That money is primarily used for tourism infrastructure. It cannot be used for anything else but to help build the infrastructure for tourism. So because of our rebound, it put us in a position to start moving forward with some of these projects. And I'm pleased to say both the Wake County Commissioners and the City of Raleigh approved funding for the arena, and that's going to be some major enhancements out there. And as a result of that, we now have a 20-year extension of our lease with Carolina Hurricanes. So that was a big moment for Wake County. And then we also approved funding for to help build a new convention hotel, which will be a minimum of 500 rooms. We also have funding now to about $387 million for a new convention center expansion and moving the Red Hat Amphitheater across the street. So there was a lot of concern that we would lose the amphitheater. We're not. We're going to keep it and build an expansion at the convention center, and then build a new indoor sports complex, which will be in the town of Cary. That'll be a small arena of about 4,000. We'll have about 12 indoor basketball courts, have the ability to do indoor volleyball tournaments, and really sports year-round inside the new sports complex. So those were big initiatives that I'm very pleased to say have moved forward.
I'm picking up that sports are an important part of this plan.
Well, sports is a major part, and we this plan is 150 pages long, so there's a lot in this plan. But we looked at several components. I mentioned the infrastructure, but we also realized that we needed to focus on esports. Just the last 2 years alone, we have hosted 8 esports events in the area, which is great global visibility for this area, but also terrific direct economic impact. Everything from Fortnite to League of Legends to Call of Duty, you name the game, we probably have had it. So having those facilities expanded and improved gives us the ability to move on those as well. Then we also looked at signature events. I mentioned Dreamville earlier, the NHL Stadium Series, but part of our goal is to identify signature events of that caliber that may be in the market that we can help grow, or there might be an event out there somewhere globally or here domestically that we'll try to attract into the market as well to help us have the impact like a Dreamville, the NHL Stadium Series has had in the market.
Well, I am curious, as you look ahead, you're halfway through this strategic plan now. It seems to be awfully successful. What do you envision, 4 or 5 years from now then?
Well, we got to get these projects in the design phase and constructed. That's big, but we have great opportunities at places like Dorothea Dix Park. We have a 30-year master plan. We're in the very early stages of that, but that's part of our strategic plan as well, is to ensure that master plan at Dorothea Dix continues to move forward. We have the Gibson Play area that will be opening in 2025, but we have other opportunities there as well. We have the Dueling Dinosaurs. That exhibit is at the Natural Science Museum. It's under construction. We've got to make sure that that gets over the finish line. And then, we've got, I mentioned greenways and parks earlier, and a lot of those assets are great for residents, but those kind of assets and outdoor assets are big for visitors as well. So we want to make sure that we continue to connect all the greenways that we have in the area. We continue to improve our parks. We're very, very excited about the downtown park in Cary, but there are other parks under development throughout Wake County. I'm really excited too because part of this funding that was set aside by the county and the city, we also set aside $23.5 million for new infrastructure projects. We don't know what that looks like today, but we have funding available. So if one of our 12 municipalities come to us and say, we've got a great idea or concept that we think will bring in additional visitation, we now have some funding available to help them move those projects forward.
Well, Dennis, with all the infrastructure improvement, RDU, that's how people get here. It's getting tougher to get in and out of that place.
Yeah, that was one of our initiatives too, we looked at what we consider regional demand generators, and certainly the growth of RDU is extremely important to not only residents, but tourism as well. Very pleased to say is since January of 2023, they've added 40 new routes, 20 new destinations. So we now have direct service to 64 cities with nonstop service, domestic, and 7 international cities. So that is big news for the airport. We're now one of the fastest growing airports in the country. But we have a lot of work to do. We're trying to add a new runway, new gates. RDU has a great vision plan. They have their own plan that they're very confident can move forward, and we're working side by side with them to ensure that all the plans they have will continue, because we all want new international routes. And we want increased domestic routes as well. And how we're going to get there is by expanding the airport, and there's great plans ahead for that as well.
Back in 2018, you sat down and you began the strategic plan. How would you grade it? It sounds like it's been
A+.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it was, but a lot of that is really dependent on good research. I mean, we hired JLL to come into the market. We spent over a year doing research, talking to our residents, talking to all of our elected officials, our customers, to find out what they think we needed to move the dial. And I think the results were spot on, and we're moving a lot of those projects forward.
It's nice to see a big smile.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis, great to see you again.
Likewise.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. We're going to talk about fall events. Yes, fall already, and you won't want to miss it. Stick around.